And we're in.
The hot news. The hot shit. I think it's a trickle effect, but the result makes me happy because I wish I was popping on Twitter if I had to choose one, probably, because sometimes I get in a flow. And so what I said the other day is, vote for me for president.
Yep.
I'm going to outlaw Photoshop and things of that nature.
Yeah.
I don't know if we talked about it here, but we definitely talked it off, where how obviously history just repeats itself, but like it's so cyclical. So what's happening on TikTok right now is a bunch of people are getting called out for fake natty shit, which is kind of whatever. Not that I'm for fake natties, but it's just gonna happen, you know. And I don't think we need a witch
Bring
hunt.
in the fake natties.
Yeah, I don't think we need to witch hunt them, you know. Like,
Yeah.
it is what it is. But a bunch of people,
They out themselves.
that too. But yeah, gyno will out you quick. They're the gyno on TikTok is actually pretty absurd.
A recently developed gyno, not adolescent gyno,
No.
which
Yeah.
strikes some dudes.
Yeah,
and-
fat baby gyno.
Yeah.
The gyno's outrageous there, but because all their Lord and Savior had gyno for 30 years. If Dwayne The Rock Johnson's everyone's god, you're gonna end up the same way. Sorry, Dwayne, to out you, buddy, but you're not natural either. People are photoshopping the living fuck out of their videos.
How are they even doing that?
Apps. The app I use, I could do it like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you just pinpoint your hips, and then you sliding scale, make my hips smaller, pinpoint my shoulders, sliding. Like, it won't fit on any video, but if you know you're going to end up using this thing, you just shoot the right angle, right? If you're kind of squared up to the camera, and all these guys they're posing, and then they put some kind of pseudo motivational shit in the background, and they do that, and they're getting outed for that, which I do kind of like. I don't mind the witch hunt there, because that's just like at least there's a little bit of gray area with steroids. Like some people, I don't want you don't have to wear a billboard that says you take stuff, and the legality of it. Like there's things going on, and if you compete, maybe there's a unspoken rule that we all know you're on. But when you're photoshopping stuff, you're literally just a piece of shit.
Yeah,
like there's no gray area for me. There's no reason for Photoshop. And that was part of my tweet. Vote for me. I'm going to get rid of filters. I'm going to get rid of Photoshop. And, don't quote me here, 50% facts, but I believe Texas and maybe Florida, filters have been disabled.
Oh, really? I know that there's something going on with that. I have no idea.
Again, 50% facts. But I believe what happened is there's a security facial recognition software that probably those states or the government uses in some nature that Facebook Meta. Do you like that? Fucking camera change, but like we're fucking YouTube clickbait. Meta or Facebook or somebody breaks those rules.
Yeah.
So by trickle-down effect, I believe you literally, if you're don't quote me, but I read somewhere maybe it changed already within the last 10 days, but you couldn't use filters in Texas. And I fucking love that.
Yeah?
I think that would solve so many mental health issues. Swear.
Yeah,
that ain't killing mental health, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, actually, I mean, they say that since the advent of social media, that the mental health of teenagers has been on the steady decline, and suicides have been rising in that group, the 13 up group.
Yeah, like the grass is greener effect we can't get rid of. Yeah. Or maybe there is, and I'm just not well thought out enough or give it enough time to think that. But the grass is greener thing where every couple that's fucking so happy sitting on their new Corvette, right? Like, I understand that, and I'm human. I am victim, for lack of a better term, to that. I see things on Instagram like, fuck, man, my gym isn't like that. Fuck, my business isn't like that. Fuck, my physique isn't like that. I'm not as strong as these guys. I get there too. You guys are not alone out there. But the filter thing, that's an easy fix.
You just get rid of them altogether.
Why? Why do we need them?
I seldom, if ever, have used them, and if I've done that, it's because there was something wrong with the picture that I was trying to fix.
Yeah,
which is not supposed to be the way that you're trying to use, photography. You're supposed to
Sure.
fix things in the camera and not
That's
in
too true.
post.
But like, yeah, like if it's a fucking, like, you seen the new one where people are crying? It's really good.
No.
So like if it's a funny filter, I'm for it.
Well, then that's different.
Yeah, but it's, dude, they did one, the Phoenix Suns. My life has changed, by the way. I forgot that I have live TV.
Oh, yeah.
We stole Dan's brothers. And so
Oh.
I haven't watched sports in 3 years. I sit down and I'm like, oh, fuck.
I just realized I'm still subscribed to Apple TV Plus, and I had no idea when that even happened.
Well, because each streaming service now has one good show and 30 billion shitty ones, so you have to get every one. But we got YouTube TV, and so I got to watch the playoffs this weekend. I was fucking stoked. But Charles Barkley, they really are so good. Like, a lot of mainstream comedy or mainstream TV is so cringe, but like Charles and them are so good. So he was a Phoenix Suns is basically his whole career.
Yeah.
The Phoenix Suns absolutely got shit on, and they throw the crying filter on his face. Meanwhile, Shaq, who just chooses to be a Dallas fan to piss off Barkley, no other reason, throws on a cowboy hat, rolls up a piece of paper and puts it in his mouth like a dip live on TV, and just crushes each other. And I'm like, dude,
oh, God.
Yeah, they're just so good. But the crying filter, a lot of y'all listeners probably seen it. It's really accurate. Like, I even put it on myself. I'm like, dude, I kind of look like that when I cry. Like, it's so good.
Don't want to know what I look like.
Your
when
lip
I cry.
like furls. It makes your lip furl somehow.
Let alone do I want to know what you look like when you cry.
No, it's so good.
I'm not against emotion. I just don't need to like.
Yeah, visually, it's never pretty.
Experience it on that level.
But yeah, like the one where it takes away your cellulite or your pores, or we're even talking about, I guess, a semi-controversial Sports Illustrated.
More than semi.
All right, then very controversial. I just feel like that's such a topic that has gone on for 30 years. I don't even pay attention anymore, right? Like the first thicker woman that was walking in Victoria's Secret. Like, I just don't care anymore, personally.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, it's levels away from. I'm not saying I don't care about the cause, but like, it's so unaffected to my day. I don't care. Throw fucking Shrek on Forbes or Sports Illustrated. I don't care. Fiona, the Shrek version of Fiona. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But we looked, and the controversy is that she's thick, and people are calling her out. But then I'm looking at it closely. I'm like, I don't mind that she's thick, but I mind that she doesn't have a wrinkle on her entire body. Yeah, I don't care if you're jacked, you're skinny, you're a little plumper, whatever proper word we're allowed to use. You have wrinkles and lines, and she's got no wrinkles and lines. Yeah, that's what I don't like.
Rubenesque.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Is a word. Yeah, and you know that. And the person who is most noted now for, I'm not even going to say his name because fuck that, for calling out, saying that it's not beautiful or whatever. Like, I don't really give a shit what your taste is, honestly. That's, and your point is well taken, that in their attempt to be more inclusive
or
authentic, they still burnished that up.
And I think that's my issue with filters, is the beauty of podcast is that it's authentic radio. Mm-hmm. The beauty of Instagram is that it's authentic billboards or whatever relation you want to make. The beauty of YouTube is that it's authentic TV, or supposed to be. But now it's so overly produced and overly filtered. Why am I going to follow some girl on Instagram who has no pores for some reason? She's an alien. Or I'll just follow some fucking... I'll just if I want that, I'll just follow Angelina Jolie's magazine. It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
I'd rather not watch either of them now.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing with social media, period, is that anytime you see a bunch of relationship posts, you wonder about the bedrock of the relationship. Like, whether
Johnny Depp has a bunch of really happy posts on Instagram, I'm sure.
Yeah.
They haven't. I was watching the court case. I don't want to dig in because it's going to fly misinformation, because I only watched 20 minutes of the whole thing. And obviously the court case is very deep. But in the 20 minutes I watched live is evidence, whatever they're digging into, they're on vacation together, happy as shit in the picture.
Yeah.
Right? You're like, all right. Exactly. She shit in his bed.
Yeah.
No one who shits in my bed is happy with me.
Literally, I've used the expression "shit the bed" so many times, and seldom do you know anyone who's actually shitting the bed,
unless it's a puppy. Yeah. Anyone that shits in your bed does not love you.
Yeah, we don't like to do poop stories on this particular show, but I was in a restroom at, I don't know if have you ever been to Nick's Taco up in Roseville?
No.
It's the fucking best tacos in this whole area. Oh, so good.
I don't know why. I've never like hunted down good tacos.
Yeah, well, you should just go there and not have to go anywhere else. Anyway, though, in the bathroom, there was a sign over the toilet that said, poop jokes aren't my favorite, but they're a solid number 2.
Nice.
And I didn't take my phone to the bathroom that one
That's
time.
pretty good. That's pretty good.
I like that one a lot.
We're going into goals and setting them, and performance-based goals versus aesthetic goals. But first, a quick break. Actually, first let me tell you to go to 3sb.co.
There we go.
Third Street Barbell, good company. Check it out. Apparel on the rip. We got new stuff on the way. A couple of shorts, some shirts on the way, but we got a bunch of tees, hoodies. Check them out. We're trying to really elevate what gym gear and what gym apparel looks like. I don't want you working out in the same shirt that you mow your lawn in. I want you to feel good. I want to build your confidence. I want you to build your confidence not only through functionality of the gym and training, but also dressing well with functional, good-looking clothing, durable clothing. Actually, in my opinion, really does help build confidence, and that's like step one. I'm not the guy like, make your bed to make sure that you accomplish something that day. I'd like to accomplish more in my day than making my bed, but I do believe that if you dress good, you know, if you feel good in the morning, you have a routine, you drink your coffee, I lay out my clothes, I match my sneakers to my shirt, I feel better, and that's going to carry out through the work I do in the day. I do truly believe that. So 3sb.co. And now a word from not necessarily our sponsors, but some folks that might want to hang out with us one day or something. Here's a break. That's good. I didn't expect that.
And we're back.
That's so professional.
I know. Yeah, actually, that's the sound that we started with when I was like building in the ability to drop in ads, and back in the original days of this show, and then eventually I just gave up.
And so we have the Roots crew similar to Jimmy Fallon, but they're just off camera.
They're just off camera.
Yeah, they just rip one note. Yeah.
One note.
We can't afford like a full song or segment.
One chord.
That's good.
Yeah. So yeah, we're on a different host now. You realize that you hear ads on the show now. I'm gonna call out the one other show that's currently on the network. That's the Coffee Time podcast. # Coffee Time podcast with Noah Kinsey, and his, if you're a wrestling person, his guest this week is EC3. I'm not a wrestling person.
Like
so
professional wrestling?
Professional wrestling, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Yeah.
Even
though, if you're one of those people, and I know that that's probably true, check out his show, the # Coffee Time podcast, on this network.
Topic of the day. It's not a question of the day episode, but we have a topic of the day from the question of the day.
So I don't know what the hell we're sending you, but it's probably something big. Maybe like,
nah, you don't get shit, dude. You didn't get chosen.
Reese's Pieces, a package of Reese's Pieces.
Yeah, the extra large ones.
Yeah,
they do have like a cookies and cream one I saw out there.
What?
I haven't had candy in so long, but it looks good. Why can't I find this question? So I think the question's good, and I'll read the actual question because it makes me think, and obviously that's maybe the definition of what a good question is. But for me, I've always promoted, first off, finding exercise that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Go do fucking yoga. My mom swims. I'm not trying to make her lift weights, although I think resistance training and cardiovascular training, finding something you enjoy in both would probably be most optimal for health and life and longevity, right? But
once or twice a week would kill her.
Yeah,
you know?
And that's everybody, right?
Yeah.
I think lifting and cardio is the ultimate piece. But really what matters is that you do something you like, one, for your mentals. Mm-hmm. If you're forcing yourself to do something, even if you can stick to it, but you hate it, that's just adding stress and things we don't need. If you enjoy it, it could be an outlet, it could be a hobby, you can find friends, and you're more likely to stick to it. Next level is I do often promote performance-based goals. They're more measurable, right? Like, yeah, you can measure your arms, if you want big arms, and every 6 months maybe you get a 1/4 inch on that thing if you're a new lifter. But being able to track your progress, controlling variables in different lifts and rest periods, rep PRs, obviously load, like something like powerlifting, time, something like running. Having performance-based goals allows you to really build a plan towards it. Not to say you can't build a plan towards hypertrophy or aesthetic goals, but it's much harder to track in the exact line to that goal. Controlling those variables is much more difficult, right? We have a lot of things we can outline to build muscle in general, but it is more difficult. So the question is, people often have an affinity for strength training because progress is objectively measurable via the weight on the bar versus subjectively when it comes to physique progress, which I would argue. Again, we can measure our arms, and not to go against what Jim was talking about earlier about a certain someone's beauty argument, but like there is a base of beauty, right? Symmetry, and whatever.
Right.
And so same with bodybuilding, vascularity, symmetry, leanness, and size in certain muscle groups make you look more aesthetically pleasing to the majority.
Yeah.
So we can measure some of those things, right? Right, I'm 210 pounds now, but I'm 12% body fat. I'm 230 pounds now, and I'm 12% body fat. I obviously built muscle, beside the point. But a concrete number, is a concrete number a double-edged sword? Can plateauing and lack of objective progress, coupled with a sole focus on numbers, disenfranchise people during their lifting journey? Maybe disenfranchise isn't the best, but like dishearten, unmotivate. How can one effectively balance the journey versus the destination in terms of goal setting and sustaining long-term interest? And I think that's a really good question, and it's a very broad topic, which is probably why we chose to do it for kind of a bigger episode, because goal setting in general, I think that argument has nothing to do, to me, versus performance versus aesthetic. That's just goal setting in general.
Yeah.
Right? Like any goal you set, I think, should always be long-term, medium-term, short-term, right? With a business, with a relationship, with a hobby. Because as soon as you only set like day goals and you're blind to next week, next month, next year, you're never going to be able to accomplish that either. And vice versa. If you only set a year-long goal, but you don't have a plan day-to-day, week-to-week, hour-to-hour that gets you there, we're going to be fucked as well. Enjoying the process and not the result, I'm lost. I have no answer for you. I wish I did. I think it goes back to maybe my number one rule of finding something you actually enjoy to do, because then you're more likely to enjoy the process. If you want to be a good golfer and you hate golf, you got to go to the driving range every day to be a good golfer, but you absolutely hate it, chances are you're not going to be a great golfer. But if you enjoy fucking golf, you're going to probably find your way there. And that's something I personally struggle with 100%. Even lifting, right? I like to lift. It's just part of what I do, but it's not like I get stoked to lift. Can't tell you the last time I got excited to lift. It's probably 10 years ago, honestly. And so I don't know the answer there, but yeah, maybe you do.
I don't know that I have an answer, but I do know that just by our very nature, humans have a difficult time dealing with short-term goals versus long-term goals. And something I saw the other day, and I think it's probably in something that I read, that like I'm a big fan of kind of what I call the 10-minute win, where something you can accomplish in 10 minutes and you need a W that day. So if you accomplish nothing else that day, you did this, and that's, that makes you feel good. But those things can actually keep people from working on the longer term stuff, because the immediate gratification of that gets to be a problem. And
especially if it's like laterally.
Yeah,
it's like lateral progress or parallel progress.
Yeah, it's not incremental upward, mobility of toward a goal.
Right.
So I think that's a problem. I think that something that you were saying last week about sacrificing for the unknown is really critical, and which is weird because I actually just pulled that clip, but like we've been doing this together a long time, and you were quoting a basketball coach, and you've quoted a basketball coach any number of times. You've never used that quote before, and it's probably the most.
Oh, here? Really?
Yeah, you've never used it before on any show that I've been on with you.
That's
it's maybe the most salient thing you've ever said.
Yeah, shout out to Dean Stark. That's one of my go-tos at seminars.
Okay.
And so sometimes maybe I just get in a different mode, but I've talked about that many a time at seminars.
Okay.
Maybe just not here. I think I might have talked about it on my YouTube. I might have wrote about it once on Instagram. Part of like branding on the internet, air quotes, is like you have to repeat yourself all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm really bad at that. You know what I mean? I'm like, well, I just talked about bench. I don't want to talk about bench again. How do you? Yeah, man, I did that last week. But the best, they really do. They do it every fucking day, and I just don't do that. And sacrifice of the unknown is something I got T-shirts on it. I've believed. I try to believe in it. Even that though, it's a hard concept to believe in.
Yeah.
Right, because it's that stupid meme where there are two dudes digging holes, and one dude turns around, and the one guy's 3 layers of dirt from the gold. You know what I'm talking about? That's what sacrifice for the unknown is. And you really do have to believe. You got to believe in it. This is some cliche, corny life coach motivational bullshit, but you got to believe that tomorrow's the big break. Now tomorrow's the big break. Now tomorrow's the big break. And you just have to go. One video can change your life. TikTokers, I've seen it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they've gone hard for 6 months and their life's changed. Money wise, security wise, enjoyment wise, stress wise. They're down a path they didn't want. They dedicated themselves to a certain amount of videos a day, and boom, their life changed. And that can't happen for everyone. There's a little bit of luck. There's a little bit of skill. There's definitely, you know, durability and chugging away at it. I use the term chugging a lot, probably more casually. You've probably heard me say that on Instagram or something. That's my sacrifice to the unknown. Hey, Mike, how you doing? I say I'm chugging along, you know, because that's what it is to me. It's repetition of the same to hopefully get me somewhere.
Yeah. Well, at least you're not saying grinding.
Yeah, that's kind of sad because it is the same thing.
It's
but,
the same thing,
yeah.
But yeah.
And that's kind of true too. You
It's
know,
like coffee and entrepreneurs. That's what grinding is.
Yeah, grinding has just been outplayed, but there is truth to it. You know, it is repeatability. It's small wins lead to a big win, hopefully, and then again, it is some luck. I do think sacrifice of the unknown is kind of this, and sports are probably the best analogy for this. And powerlifting, the reason I don't enjoy it, and I've talked about this multiple times, is that the sacrifice, the known is kind of there for me. If I hit 550 for 2 in my last prep of deadlift, I know I'm good for 575-ish on meet day. And unless I'm mentally just not a great athlete or a gamer or something gets in my way, I'm probably going to pull 575 at that meet. But if you have all these basketball skills and then you have strategy and then you have this and you have that and you have this and then you're going up against an opponent, same with baseball, like you do just have cold streaks. You do just have hot streaks. And some of it's inexplicable. Some of it's mental. Some of it's not. Some of it's literally just happenstance. Like some of it just happens. But there is a real their best player could get injured. Your best player could get injured. Someone could get sick. You know, there's all these unknowns that happen in a sport with a little bit more variety, or definitely business, definitely other aspects of life, where powerlifting is just so linear to me. You know, it's just so A to B. That's why I don't maybe get that excitement from it, because the unknown is fear, and the unknown is excitement.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Sure.
Like, those are the two things that the unknown
sure.
brings. And so, again, this life coachy bullshit, like, let's change the word anxiety to excitement. Well, that doesn't really work either.
No,
at least for me, yeah. Like,
it's not the same thing.
yeah, but the unknown can bring a little bit of both. And what is life if you're not feeling a little bit of both? And that sounds a little corny too, but it is kind of true. Do you just want to be vanilla the whole time and work that job that you know exactly what's going to happen? Nothing's going to change. You don't like it. You don't hate it. There's no fear. There's no excitement. There's no anxiety. There's nothing. I don't know. And I think physique sports probably have a little bit more of that unknown. I honestly, because like you don't know who's going to show up next to you. Something could go weird with your diet. You don't know if you're going to peak perfectly. Like, it's a little bit different maybe. I don't know. I've never competed in it, although I followed it for so long. Yeah, I don't know.
The self-deception in powerlifting is thinking that you executed a lift the way that it would pass in a meet when you didn't.
Yeah. That's some unknown. But if you've done it for a long time,
yeah.
and if you have good friends, like real training partners are going to call you on your shit,
right.
You can eliminate some of that, but you're right.
I think that it's much harder to be objective about yourself if your goal is an aesthetic one, because we distort the mirror.
For sure.
We see things in much more detail or in greater bigger, more fat, less muscle. That's what we see in the mirror.
And who's helping you in that? The person you're paying.
Right.
Your coach.
Right.
Like,
and
he's checking your progress, saying like, yeah, Jim, you look great. Like, is he really going to say like,
you look like shit?
Yeah, like, man, I fucked up, because then it's on the coach, really, or
what did
who
I
knows?
do? What I do for
that
you?
Is interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think about that. Yeah, both are a little fucked. I do think powerlifting gear, squat suits, etc., add a huge variable. Right, because if you bomb out in a raw meet, honestly, you probably just fucked up.
Yeah, bad attempt selection.
Yeah. You didn't do something
or you
great.
got injured.
Yeah, or a bad cut or whatever. You did something wrong.
Yeah.
Where if you bombed in a suit, you did something wrong as well. But there's, crazy shit happens. Really, there's a lot of variables. Just like driving a NASCAR or whatever. Like you're driving a high performance thing. Yeah. Things go crazier.
Your gear might blow out, or speaking of repeating yourself, something I've been talking about for probably more than 8 years now. Is people making a drastic weight cut, and then when they put the weight back on, it doesn't go in the same places that it did before, so their gear doesn't fit the same.
Yeah.
And
So you don't get the same rebound.
Yeah, they're not able to lift the same way they did before. Yeah, I don't know. For a minute the other day, I was getting up off of something and thinking I kind of missed the gear a little bit, like briefs. I sort of missed squat briefs in a way, because they just made you feel like you were moving faster and you were perhaps more comfortable.
That's even knee sleeves. Like I squatted all winter with no knee sleeves because I wear sweats, and I don't want to fucking deal with that. That's literally the reason. Because someone's asking, like, Michael, I had the belt to squats. I'm like, I just don't want to put on a belt. I'm not trying to throw any. I don't have any magic sauce for you. And so I'll oftentimes in the winter, because I'm training in sweatpants, I don't want to fuck around and put knee sleeves on. I'm not a competitor. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But then I do put knee sleeves on in the spring. It does feel fucking awesome. My knees feel great. You know, it does feel like magic. So I understand with that stuff with briefs. I also think like powerlifters that go unknown, and I don't want to talk shit on majority of you, but a lot of them aren't like gamers, right? They weren't like high level athletes. They didn't play collegiate sports. They don't know what it's like to go in the fourth quarter, 1 minute left type shit. And that's what powerlifting is. That's the beauty I do like about powerlifting. You get one attempt, lights are on you, judges are on you, show up or shut up. It's kind of every lift. You have to be kind of clutch. You have to kind of. It's like acting. It's like anything. You're on stage. You have one line. You better crush that line, bro. Like, you got one chance at this thing. And so I do like that, the clutch factor. And so maybe some people who haven't been in those situations a lot, and I haven't in a long time, right? Like, last real basketball game I played was probably 2010 or 11. So I haven't been those a lot, but growing up, I was in those every single day. You know, I played basketball year round. And so if you hadn't been in those a lot, I could understand your addiction to that feeling on the platform, because it's the buzzer. You're shooting a buzzer beater every single third attempt. That's a buzzer beater. And so that adrenaline I do love in sports. So I guess that unknown could attract some people, and the sacrifice for the unknown fits a little bit better there. But it's, in fitness, although there's a lot to still be discovered via science and evidence, or be organized via science, maybe not discovered is the right word, we know how to lose weight. We know how to gain strength. We generally know how to get jacked. We generally, we have all these protocols that are pretty freaking accurate. And so, again, the unknown, it just isn't there for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're like the same thing. Like business is more exciting for me because you do one TikTok tomorrow and 1 million people see it and think you're the funniest guy ever. Next week, you're on David Letterman. Like literally that can happen.
Yeah. But not Letterman, but yeah.
Yeah. I think he has a show on Netflix or something. That's me showing age, huh?
Incredibly famous to get on. Yeah. Fallon, maybe.
Yeah, Fallon.
Yeah.
But we're like, I'm not going to deadlift 400 pounds for 5 reps today, compete tomorrow and pull 900.
No.
You know what I mean? And so, like, that excitement isn't there for me.
And I think another way to look at both aesthetic goals and strength goals is that the people who become involved in these things, I'm going to make a broad general statement, and there are plenty of...
They're insane.
I wasn't going to say insane.
They're self-conscious.
Yeah, well, they don't do it. They're not doing it from a place of strong self-esteem a lot of the time.
Yeah, the goals aren't often driven... even though they want to say internally, they're not.
No.
Right? Like the guy that wants to deadlift 800 wants to prove his bully's wrong. And so internally, they'll say I'm internally motivated, but they're not. Or you're going to get the chicks, or you're going to go get 18-inch biceps. The new term is revenge bod. When your girlfriend breaks up with you and now you get fucking jacked.
Which that happens. That happens.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But it doesn't mean...
Rebounders are some of the hottest people on the planet, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I get it. But yeah, you're right. Like, if that's going to be a 10-year goal to stay in the gym, that's not going to keep you going.
No.
That little gas of motivation, that's actually motivation. When people talk about motivation versus discipline versus, no, I'm just a hard worker versus all this bullshit buzzword terms, that's motivation, right? Like... You just get a little douse of fuck my ex-girlfriend.
Right.
That'll light you up for a month.
Right, for sure. Also, it doesn't sustain unless you like. This is people talk about how like like hate is unsustainable or whatever. No, hate can be fuel
for sure,
and it's entirely sustainable.
Yeah, it can be, and so can all that stuff. Like,
as long as it doesn't permeate everything about you. You know what I mean? If you feel like you have something to prove, and that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people in both sports.
Yeah.
And I'm using the word sports very loosely there, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, both activities.
Yeah. So,
I don't know with the goal setting to enjoy, right? I guess the main key is like enjoy the process, and when you're externally motivated, you're results driven. And I think a lot of us are just naturally, and I don't know the psychology on it, but a lot of us are results driven. Like you want enough money to buy the Porsche, you want to look good enough to get the hot wife, you want to deadlift 800 so you can get a sponsorship. I don't get as many questions anymore, but I remember 5 years ago and then the 5 years prior to that, in 2011 to 17, I got so many questions on how to get sponsored and how do I get noticed. And I get some now, I guess, how to build a social media or how to build a brand. I get questions on that, which are similar, right? They think that when I pull 700, I'm going to get a 6-figure chick from my favorite supplement company, and it just doesn't. And that again is just so results driven rather than. I think I'm kind of lucky in fitness, I guess. I'm in that gray area. I'm in a moderate thing where I just like to. I don't like to train. I just train. I don't hate it. I don't love it. Some days I'm a little bit more in the flow and I'm laughing, and some days I'm grumpy and I'm still training, but I just train. Not to say like I love the process. I do the process, and it's part of what I do.
Yeah. I very briefly interviewed Dave Hoff years ago now, and he was everybody says it now, he was the first person I ever heard say that powerlifting is a marathon, not a sprint. And that's true of kind of everything that you want to do. It's and this guy has achieved things that, I mean, regardless of how you feel about gear or about judging meets and gear, whatever.
He was a league of his own.
Yeah. Totally outstrips everyone else in terms of the strength game, and if he's saying that, then it's got to be true.
Yeah, and that's what they say, right? Like, or now they evolve to like marathon in the macro, sprint in the micro, daily sprints, yearly marathons, and that's what I agree to too, right? Like, you need like a 5 out of 10 effort over 5 years. Mm-hmm. And in the day, if you can reach for like a 7 out of 10 effort, and if both of those goals line up, you're probably going to get there. Or you're going to get closer you're going to get somewhere. And that is the unknown of all of it. Mm-hmm. That's the unknown of all of it. And that's because I'm trying to think of like something that I just enjoy the process and not the results. But I don't even know, I guess gaming. But even then, like, I only play competitive games. I'm trying to win. I've never played like a mindless story game in my life. I guess Pokemon back in the day. But even then, I'm trying to whoop ass. I'm trying to fucking take Pikachu to the league, We're not here to fuck around.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to the top. I'm not trying to get my ass whooped by Brock in the first fucking gym.
Yeah, no, I get that. I think that maybe part of the answer is that you can't let those little goals be the only reason you're doing it.
Right. Yeah.
That
or your ex-girlfriend be the only reason you're doing it, or your mama that didn't love you. Daddy issues is a big topic too. Kendrick Lamar, shout out to Kendrick, dude. And I'm gonna sound like the fucking hippie, but he is like, Kid Cudi might have been the first. We should do that documentary. It has nothing to do with sports, but it's really good.
Okay.
He talks about like he was like the first like rapper that's like, or hip hop artist that's like emotional. He like made emo rap. He's talking about his feelings and suicide and his thoughts. And Kendrick talks about his daddy issues on this album. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Where like, and again, I'm gonna sound like the hipster guy that like listen to the lyrics, but like Future just came out with an album, another very popular rapper, and then you're still just talking about Percocet for the last decade. Like, dude, nothing's happened in your life. You just still are just about Percocet.
Future is still about Percocet.
That's it. Yeah, and like Kendrick's talking about like getting in a fight with his girlfriend, and then he's talking about his daddy issues. Like, what grown man that's a rapper has ever talked about daddy issues?
Yeah,
that's where like Eminem's kind of cool too. Like, he talk about violent things in his ex-girlfriend or whatever, but he's talking about emotional shit.
Right.
And I think more people can relate to that than not, but I don't know where that first popped in my head. Oh, like goals. Or like if those are the things, your daddy issues are the only thing driving you, and I understand that that may be a big part of your quote unquote identity and a big part of your thought process when you wake and sadness when you go to sleep. But if you don't set goals for you, which again all breaks down to self-awareness, and that's a difficult thing because you can't really teach it. You can't really tell people. You can say like, hey, go be introspective and spend time with yourself. But
that's what people are saying when they're saying, develop a meditation practice or whatever.
Yeah,
that's
true.
That's what really we're talking about. Because like, if you're gonna meditate, try not to think about yourself and see how well that works out.
Yeah, true. Yeah, what happens to those people? We talked about this before too. What happens to the people who meditate or go to therapy or are introspective that don't have a monologue going on?
Oh, I don't know. That's the inner monologue that
right.
Sometime last year or the year before, I can't remember. We talked about the fact that the number of people who have an inner monologue, an inner voice.
I thought we Googled it's 50%.
Yeah,
right?
no, I think it's lower than that even.
Oh, that do have the monologue.
They do have it.
Yeah. Okay. So let's say 60-70%.
People just don't have an
What do you tell
voice.
your therapist?
I have no idea. I don't have a clue. Anytime I'm going to go see my therapy guy, I run through pieces of conversation.
For sure.
So it's like doing a podcast.
Yeah.
It is actually it's freakishly like doing a podcast, and I could almost just record it and put it out as one.
You probably could,
because I've been doing this for a very long time.
Shrinkage would be a really good name. That's good.
That is pretty good.
Yeah.
Shrinkage.
Yeah, about therapy.
You could use George Costanza's voice.
I don't. I don't know what those people would do.
Yeah, I don't.
I want a data analysis to find more commonalities between the non-monologue folk. Like, do those guys go to a certain profession, or do they? You know what I mean? Do they eat a certain way? Do they look a certain way? There's got to be. If you have no monologue going on, your life is drastically different than mine. I guarantee it.
Yeah, in that monologue, that inner monologue is where you remind yourself to do shit.
Yeah, I got one that I know is a fact. I don't, but I'm making it up.
Okay.
If you don't have a monologue, you're an extrovert.
Oh, maybe so, because you're spitting it all out.
Well, you'll need people.
Yeah.
You can't be alone.
Yeah.
Imagine actually sitting in silence. I've never actually sat in silence because my stupid brain is going.
Yeah.
But if you actually sat in silence, that sounds terrifying.
Well, that was my experience with doing. I thought that float tank was going to be awesome, and it's awesome for about half an hour, and then I'm ready to get the fuck out because all it happens is my brain runs, and I've never taken edibles and done it or whatever, which a lot of people think is a good way to do it, but my brain is just too active the whole time, and I think that it should be moving. I want to be on
Lazy River.
Lazy River, yeah.
That's one of my end goals, to build this podcast big enough that I can afford my own Lazy River at home. Yeah, that'd be so sick.
That'd be awesome.
I'm not a pool guy. Same idea with even sitting in a pool. I'm the same. I'm not just gonna go sit at the beach.
Yeah,
it's fucking boring. But if I'm fucking soaring around in a little lazy river, a little music, a little margarita.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the vibe.
I had one the other night that was pretty good. As a matter of fact,
margaritas. Yeah, I think the monologue. I don't know where we went with all that, but the non-monologue folk, if you're listening, hit us on socials or the Discord, 50percentfacts.com to join the Discord, and let me know. I wonder if they're afraid to admit that.
I don't know. If they...
Or maybe I'm being judgmental to think they're a lower species.
That's a possibility.
Yeah, maybe I'm the hater, but there's just no way that you're not an extrovert.
Yeah. Going back, we're talking about goals for I'm going to show dad, I'm going to show mom, whatever. Went to a wedding over the weekend, and this is from my wife's job stuff, and you often know this is a weird thing. Like when you meet people that your spouse works with, they often know too much about you, which is a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, but you might know too much about them.
But then you know too much about them, which can be very uncomfortable as well. It's just it's just one of those things. But 3 of the people, including the groom at this thing, are people that I know had absolutely terrible childhoods because they had an absolutely terrible parent.
Yeah.
Like one parent out of the set was just a fucking ogre.
Yeah.
Just a demon.
I think it's common.
And I guess so, but I've said going back to repeating yourself, I've said many times on every show that we've ever done that bad parenting is the gift that keeps giving.
Yeah.
If you want to fuck up your kid, be sure to be an asshole to them and show yourself being an asshole to other people, so that person can either, they call this the pendulum effect, where you either
become an alcoholic or you've never touched beer.
Yeah,
deal.
exactly.
That's been a big topic over the years of my therapy, is because like I do have a chip on my shoulder to like prove myself type shit, but I had great fucking parents. Unless there's some crazy trauma I just can't dig into, but I've dug. I fucking went. Like I had awesome parents.
Yeah.
And so like, why do I have this chip that normally would be a daddy issue chip or my mom wasn't there chip, or you know what I mean? I just don't know. But I still have a little bit of a chip like, no, I'm going to show you I'm a bad motherfucker for no reason. Ego. But that's everyone, right? Even the person with the daddy issue, it's really ego. Because who are you really proving? You think you're going to go, make $1 million and all of a sudden daddy loves you? Like that, I know internally you do, but that's ego.
Yeah, so often people aren't really paying enough attention to you to actually give a shit about what you do.
Your dad, if your dad didn't care before, when you're an innocent little 2-year-old, he's not going to care now.
Yeah.
And if he does, it's fake caring. He just wants part of your check.
Here's a question though: excuse me, you're talking about like how you were, just how you were born.
Yeah.
Right. So how do you, relative to goals, train yourself to get the right thing out of your goal?
Yeah.
And not trigger the wrong thing.
That's why I don't want to say never, just in case my future wife is listening, but that's why I'm not going to be a dad. Like, I don't know how do you treat your kids that?
Well, no,
because it is on the parents, right? Like,
yeah.
To try to mold your kid to enjoy a process.
Yeah.
How do you fucking do that?
Well, yeah. All you can really do, I mean, you can read books and all that kind of crap, but all you can do is think about the way that you experience things, whether you like them, whether you don't like them, whatever, and just sort of mirror that to your kids over and over enough until they show you what they enjoy and what they don't enjoy.
And even that, like my dad, I think was really good, although he is competitive and I'm competitive, or used to be. I kind of killed that little demon. I don't give a fuck anymore, at least with superficially things. But my dad was always about, no matter what, I could fucking go off. I could have a triple-double, and my dad would be like, did you do your best?
Yeah.
Rather than like, hey, Mike, great job. You just fucking, you led the nation in assists. He never mention it. You'd say, did you do your best? All right, man. Let's go grab dinner.
Yeah.
Like that's all he ever asked for anything, which I think is kind of mixed in there somewhere, rather than, you've probably been around as a dad. I've been around as a referee, and I ran basketball leagues and shit. The parents that are like,
horrible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But like on their kids about stats in college, and I'm like, dude, your kid fucking sucks. Like he's got no chance, whatever it is. But they're all numbers driven or winning driven. They're more excited about the win, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad was never really like that. Like obviously he wanted us to win, but we were good. We were winning anyways. I wanted to fucking win too, but he never told me go win this game.
Mm-hmm.
He would always say, did you do your best, or just go do your best? And that's, I think, kind of part of it. I think we talked about it here too. I don't know. I just get caught up in like psychology stuff on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. And obviously they always talk about parents because it's such a nature versus nurture. That's the first thing you have, or it's 50% of what you end up being. They always talk about like, rather than saying like, I'm proud of you, saying like, are you proud of you?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, Daddy, I took my first shit or wiped my ass, do you say, oh, I'm so proud of you? And you're like, oh, are you proud of yourself? Or, oh, I got an A in this class, rather than putting on the thing saying, oh, I'm so proud of you, great job. Like, are you proud of you, kind of deal. And I think that's kind of it too. Like, are you proud of your day-to-day accomplishments? Are you proud of maybe those 10-minute wins you're talking about, that the spectrum of that win, or the goalposts of that win, if you are wired correctly, which no one's wired perfectly, but if you're wired hypothetically perfect, your goalpost is way bigger, right? Like imagine, it sounds naive, but like if I'm fucking stoked that I put my shirt on the correct way every day, even as an adult, you're going to be a happier human. Like, fuck yeah, I got the logo on the front,
Well, it doesn't always work that way for me.
No, for sure not. But imagine, that's the point. But if it did, you're like, fuck yeah, right? Like, rather than like, we get so mad when we get a flat tire.
Yeah.
Imagine being stoked every time you didn't get a flat tire. Right? Life would be fucking rad.
Actually, I'm just sitting here thinking, I wonder how our friend Jacob Ross deals with this stuff, because he's literally like one of the best people ever.
Yeah, he's really positive.
And he's super positive all the time in a
Yeah.
way that I am not capable of.
I think I can do that decently for others.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't think I'm that performative. I honestly can be positive.
I don't think it's performative for him at all.
No.
Just,
That's what I'm saying. I don't think me either.
Yeah.
Like, I think I can be pretty genuinely positive for others, but when it's internal, that's why I wonder about Jacob, and I love the guy to death. But you know what I mean? Doesn't mean he internally he's the same.
I don't
for
know.
his own shit.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
because of Bart's really positive. I have a lot of like Omar's a positive cat. Like,
but yeah, I mean, I've seen Omar experience self-doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't say that I've seen Bart like that, and I
Yeah.
absolutely have never seen Jacob like that. But
but yeah, like what you show.
Yeah. And, well, Omar's always trying to figure out what the like biggest impact's going to be, and not. I mean, that's not really
big brain games.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and obviously the dose of the human you get. Like if you ask Seabass, about me, he'll be like, "Oh, Mike's so positive." But then, like you and Kyle have seen me in many more lights than he has at this point. That's all. And I think you guys would generally say Mike tries to be positive. It's not like I'm a negative piece of shit, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, the negative Nancy.
Yeah, but if the more you're around somebody, or shout out to my future ex-wife, she'll know negative Mike. You know what I mean? Like it's just bound to, right? Like your partner will know more about you than Or this podcast, everyone's like, "Dude, Mike's so positive all the time." Yeah, happy bee. But my monologue, Mike, says Mike's a piece of shit.
We talk about the fact that the podcast in its basic form is a performance. It is not.
Yeah.
It's not dramatically different than who we are, but it's more out front than either one of us typically is with strangers.
And if you analyze the living fuck out of these podcasts or listen to them in a row somehow, you'd probably notice days were more down or days were more up.
Probably so. And if you actually really listen to everything, you realize that there are threads that run through it all, and that's kind of where our brains live and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because we can't. That's the beauty of, again, going back to, I guess, to round this thing up, like the filter thing I was talking about. Like podcasts, you can't really filter. Like you can edit the living fuck out of it, but still, you're gonna find, unless it's literally scripted, you're gonna get to know that person.
Yeah,
it's really hard to hide it. Where on Instagram,
I used to think it was impossible, and now I realize that's not true.
For sure.
But because some people are more skilled at showing you what they want you to see,
100%.
and not what's really.
But that's real life too.
That's also real, yeah. And
like the little narcissism deals, right?
Yeah.
Like you'll never get to know someone like that because they're so good at not showing that.
Narcissism, just that high level of self-involvement, or grifty behavior,
I think that's
con person, confidence man, confidence woman.
I think the difference is those people can do it forever because they'll have no cognitive dissonance, where if someone tries to do that on live stream or podcast that has a conscience, they'll eventually have so much cognitive dissonance they won't be able to continue. They'll reach burnout, like real burnout.
Yeah.
And burnout and all these things are other buzzwords everyone talks about, but they'll reach real burnout because your actions and what you're projecting is not your true self. Another buzzword, dude. I can't even talk anymore because every piece of shit life coach has stolen every word and made it shit. Like, true self is such an honest thing to say, but everyone's telling me to be my truest self and lean in that I don't know what that even fucking means anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys are ruining my life.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. No, and I think, too, that if you're attuned to it, you can hear when people are not being authentic.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Especially over long formatted.
But not everybody has that ability.
No. On both ends, yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
True. Ladies and gentlemen, brand new episodes every Wednesday and Friday. We appreciate you. Coming up very soon, we're going to cover Tyson. It is an older documentary, but it's fucking sick. I remember being stoked as like a teen about it. I even bought it at fucking Hollywood Used or some shit for $10. So we're going to cover that with Dean Sidoris. Hopefully we're going to get Joe back on here. It seems like you guys really enjoyed the conversation. Who knows what we'll talk about next. Maybe some more applicable training stuff. I have a couple questions for him to see how he analyzes them. I'm Silent Mike, wherever you want to find me, 3sb.co if you're in NorCal. SoCal, 3rd Street Barbell. You know where to find us. Be sure to share this thing, join the Discord, stay connected, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
I am at the Jim McDonald on all the social media. This show is 50% facts, where percent is a word, and 50 is just numbers. And this show is a Spreaker Prime podcast in association with, this is a Spreaker, 50% Facts is a Spreaker Prime podcast in association with iHeartMedia on the OCN, the Obscure Celebrity Network. And we'll talk to you next time on Friday.